Hello, everybody. This is Anuj Tripathi, and you are watching the Review Universe, aka TRU podcast. So, in this podcast, we have conversations with authors regarding their book, their journey, and their inspirations behind their book. So, today we are joined by Jessica McAnelly, a Texas based author, registered dietitian, registered sanitarian, and a public health professional with more than 2 decades of experience helping communities live healthier lives. So Jessica has taken her expertise in food safety, nutrition, and wellness and transformed it into something unique. Award-winning children book, and that makes healthy habits fun, engaging, and memorable. Through her beloved Birdie series, she is helping children learn about food safety, healthy eating, and physical activity through storytelling, colorful characters, and positive messages. So, Jessica, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, before becoming a children's author, you spent years working in public health. So, tell us about that journey.
Yes, like you mentioned, I'm a registered dietitian and a registered sanitarian. And a registered sanitarian is kind of a fancy name for being a restaurant inspector. And so I would travel to restaurants around the state of Texas and make sure that the food that you and I are eating are safe. I also worked on the foodborne illness team, and we would go and investigate if anyone had become sick in the city and kind of try to track that down. And so, yes, I've had over 30 years experience in public health, and I wanted to transform that background and make it fun for children and make it understandable for children early on. So I have now become a children's author, but I focus strictly on public health.
Okay. So, um, as a listener on Spotify or watching on YouTube for the first time to you, so how would you describe yourself as an author or as an uh, like uh, uh, public health inspector? What do you call yourself?
I do when I go out to schools a lot, and I still go out in the public regularly. And so I do still call myself a sanitarian and a dietitian. And then I just call this next part of my life, this next stage, I am an author too. But I am a combined health educator with being an author. So you're not just getting a book with me when you have me come out to your services or you buy one of my books, you're actually getting a lesson as well. And so that's why I really enjoy my books. If I can't be there in person and you have the book, each of my books have a checklist at the end for you and your child to see if you've gotten those concepts down. And hopefully that's teaching that early education to last a lifetime.
Okay. So, what exactly inspired you to combine your professional expertise to children's storytelling?
Well, I'll be honest, I always wanted to be an author. And as a health inspector, I used to have friends of mine ask me all the time where the best restaurants were to eat and where I thought the safest restaurants were to eat. And so I was always giving out advice in my early career, but more to adults. And as I had a milestone birthday coming up, I was turning 50, and I made a list of
Okay.
50 things I wanted to do before I became 50. And one of those items on my checklist was to write a book. But I thought, as my life has been changing and my children have now moved on to college and adulthood, I didn't want to write a book for adults anymore. I wanted to target children. And so I started working on that book, and I did a lot of research, and I could not find any books on food safety for children. I could find for adults, but I could not find any for kiddos. And so I chose my first book to be Birdie's Picnic Party, a tasty take on food safety. And I know you guys had reviewed that book
Yeah.
for me as well. And it's kind of taken off from there. So now it's built into the series of three books.
Okay, so were there any specific moment when you realized children's book could become a powerful tool for health education?
I don't know when I realized it. I'll be honest, it's been a very fun journey. And I tell people that I get a lot of people come and ask me now that say they want to be an author, but they're scared to start. And I tell them you're never too old to start, and never be scared, because if you let fear hold you back, then you're never going to accomplish those goals. So I say still go write the book. And like you've asked me earlier, I did not know this was going to turn into an educational journey. I had hoped that when I started, but it's been fun to watch it take off from there. And I truly love when schools call me, or when libraries call me to have them come in, have me come in and do their summer reading programs to teach kids. And now I'm seeing the potential to build curriculum around the books, that if I can't be there in person to teach you about food safety, you can order my books, have curriculum, and perform that in your own classroom if you're a teacher.
Got it. Okay, so according to you, what are some biggest food safety mistakes families make without realizing it?
That's a great question. A lot of families do think that they can't start teaching food safety early enough. They think their children are maybe too old and that time has passed them. And I always say it's never too early to start teaching food safety. Also, parents are very busy, that they think that they can't um, like take their child to a farmer's market or a grocery store and actually carefully pick out food items, and look at use by dates on the food items. Also, parents at home sometimes have older equipment, like an older refrigerator that's not maintaining temperatures. But it's never too late to start. And starting with my Birdie's books, they're very simple techniques to get you off on the right start.
Okay, so the direct question will be like, how can parents make food safety education fun rather than something that feels like a lesson?
Well, and that's what I love about my books. My books aren't meant to be a lesson. They're supposed to be fun. And all of my books are rhyming. So they're great for early readers. It also helps them learn how to read. And then, like I mentioned earlier, each of my books have a checklist at the end. And so when I do go to schools, for example, for my first book, Birdie is at a picnic. And at the end of the book, the kids are able to learn to become a food safety superstar. And we take my food models, and I have the kids flap their birdie wings if they think the food item is safe, and we pack it into my picnic basket. And then if they don't think it's safe, they do a big X, and we put the food to the side. And then they earn a food safety superstar certificate and a star sticker to take home. And so I feel kids are visual learners and hands-on learners. So you're taking this difficult concept and you're making it fun for them. And so that's going to instill that in them, and they're going to remember that and carry that on. And if you start early, those kiddos are eventually going to start packing their own lunches for school. They're going to end up having their own families later on, and it'll just continue to build on these skills as they grow.
Okay, so what are some simple habits families can start today to create healthier lifestyles?
Simple habits is I truly strongly encourage family meal nights. And I love that idea that you take the whole family to the grocery store or a farmer's market. And I always say stay on the outer edges of the grocery store, because that is all your healthy food items, your fresh food items, such as your meats, your fruits and vegetables. When you end up in the middle of the store, that's more of your processed food items. And so I want you to have a healthy, balanced diet. So my second book teaches even how to prepare food items using the my plate concept of having a certain amount of protein, certain amount of fruits and vegetables. And so I say go as a family, make it fun, pick a recipe as a family to get back into the kitchen together and prepare it, and then all have sit down and have dinner together, because that is what we're missing nowadays. We're so busy. Parents are both working. Kiddos are involved in so many activities, from sports to music lessons to their schooling. And so my books are all about trying to build connection and bring you back to the dinner table, and bring you back to those family values as well, not just food safety.
Okay, so according to you, what misconceptions do parents often have about nutrition and wellness, so that they hesitate?
Well, like I said, we're very busy, and some people think it's too late to start. And we're such a busy society that we're into convenience foods, which when I say convenience foods, I'm talking about quick foods like your fast foods. And yes, fast foods are bad, but actually, if you educate yourself and that is your only option, there are nowadays fast foods that have menu items that can be healthy for your family. So if you start looking at that and finding, if that's your only option and you can't get to the grocery store and you have to do a convenience food, look at the menu very well and look at your grilled items over your fried items. Just making those little changes can help build a healthier family.
Okay, so what role does confidence and self-esteem play in children's health?
I think that's huge. And that's what my third book is all about. Children have so many challenges nowadays that we didn't when we were younger. And the third book is all about building confidence and finding your perfect fit. And so, Birdie, my main character in all three of the books, tries every sport with her friends, and her friends introduce all the different sports. And it doesn't have to be sports. We talk about even yoga in the book. It's just about finding your perfect fit, and then if you have a support system that supports you in finding that journey, it helps build your confidence. And then in the end, she does find her perfect fit, and just having that exercise and getting her body moving makes her also feel good inside. So the confidence and moving your body kind of go hand in hand.
Okay, so like what does fitness mean for like children beyond exercise?
Well, I just mean it doesn't have to be exercise. It's just really moving your body and having less screen time. We're a very screen addicted society as well. We are on our iPads all the time. We're on computers all the time. Like I mentioned earlier, the parents are busy, and so sometimes it's easier to have a screen for a child, to educate them that way. So I always like to encourage families to maybe have screen free weekends, or if you can't go that long, maybe have a screen free evening. And again, build it around that meal that we talked about. Everybody put their cell phones aside, everybody put their computers aside, make a meal together, sit down and actually reconnect and talk face to face.
Okay, so why is it important for kids to associate movement with joy rather than obligation?
That's a good question too, and that's a tough one. I just think moving your body increases endorphins, and the endorphins, make you happy, and so ultimately you are joyful. Um, there are studies out there, and I won't get into the deep secrets. Deep studies and what they're showing, but the sedentary lifestyle has been linked to several cases of depression as well. And so if we can just, have get outside and have the sun hit your body and have a little bit of vitamin D and move your body, and even if it's just an inhale and an exhale, you're bringing joy into you and building a healthier body and a more confident body.
Okay, so I would say like don't mind, like I have all the questions I have made regarding as a parent only, so that parents can know what wrong they are doing and what they have to do. Like they can get some solutions from it as well. So I have another question from this perspective only. So many parents struggle with picky eaters. Okay, so what advice do you give to them? Like
Okay, I actually get that a lot with my patients. Picky eating is one of the number one things parents come to me about. And that is very hard. And again, that is where you want to be hand in hand in a partnership with your child and make it fun for them. Because if you do go take them to a farmer's market and have them pick an item, they're more likely, if they picked it out, to try it. And then I don't know if you've 21-day rule, but any new food will take 21 days of you reinforcing that food. So if you start off with just one, and I only recommend one food at a time. You don't want to try to bombard a child with different food, but if you're trying broccoli for the first time and you really want them to have broccoli, they're most likely going to turn their nose every time you give it to them. You have to be consistent, and you have to try 21 days. And then I always say, try to cook it in different methods. Maybe broccoli and sprinkle cheese on it if you know your child loves cheese. And then you get that vitamin in from the broccoli from them, but you also made it fun because of cheese. And then if you really want to get crafty, if I have such picky clients and they come to me and their kiddos really aren't eating anything, smoothies are a really great way to get kids to get their vegetables and fruits. And blending up some kale in a smoothie and trying to pass it off as your child. We're not trying to trick the child, but we're trying to make food fun, that they will try it and get those vitamins inside them.
Is it all about the taste only? Like they don't like deny anything, but they just want the bitter taste.
It's usually the taste, and yes, they would much rather candy and chips than fruits and vegetables any day. But if you keep pushing it, like I said, it takes 21 days to create a good habit. And if you continue that on that journey and just experiment, and there's some great ways out on the internet that you can find some great recipes for smoothies of taking the kale, but also mixing it with some fun peanut butter if your child does not have a food allergy, with some strawberries, that a kid's going to love it and continue to ask you to make that over and over again. And then as your child grows older, you can also teach them how to make it themselves, and that's your next phase. So as if you have young children, you would start that phase, and then as they grow older, then you're going to show them, bring them into the kitchen with you, show them serving sizes, teach that to them, and teach them how to make it themselves. And it'll just continue to carry on from there.
Okay, so like as you already said, you have a book that you want to be the curriculum which need to be studied in the schools. So, what role should schools play in teaching nutrition?
The schools, I will say, they're not doing such a big job on nutrition, but I have seen in Texas they're moving towards there's National Nutrition Month, and that's in May, and so that's usually when I get a lot of calls to come out, because they do have a lesson on nutrition and they want somebody to come and teach the kiddos about that. And I do see a lot of kids, it is lacking. A lot of children do not know how to make a plate of healthy food or make food decisions and food choices that are healthy for them. And so I do see there is a need, and hopefully with my books too, that families will buy it and start that teaching that at home, not just in schools.
Okay, so do you actually think like children learn better through stories than the direct instruction, like which is given in the schools most of the times?
I do. Well, I think both. I think it's combo. I think they only reinforce each other. So if you're hearing it from two different areas, it just continues to reinforce that strong message. But I do believe we need to start within our families first. We can't always rely on the schools to teach those important messages. So as a family, I do think start early. Again, if somebody is watching this and they say they have 10-year-olds or 12-year-olds and they haven't done this, it's not too late. Start now. And my books are more geared for 4 to 10-year-old age, but it's not too late. I had actually a middle school call me the other day, and they had me come out, and I kept telling them over and over again, my books are more for elementary school. Are you sure, middle schoolers? And I'm telling you, it's been one of my favorite events that I have gone. They really soaked it all in and were eager. And then I ended up receiving like a package of thank you notes the other day, and they had all these food safety tips that they had learned, and they had told me that they were using it at home, and so that to me means the book's been a success.
Perfect. So, like,
Yeah.
if your book Birdie could give one message to children about staying active, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good one. I wish I had a good, strong tagline for that, but I would just really say, just move, get your body moving in any form or fashion. If you are sitting in front of the TV, stand up and stretch to the sky and take in that deep breath. If you have a backyard, go to the backyard and run around for a little bit, get that sunlight on you. Some people are in apartments and they say that they can't do that. No, there's ways to get involved. I'm actually working with another company on a World Cup campaign, and we're talking all about exercise and how important, and learning about the different countries as well that are participating in the World Cup. And we're telling people, get those little cones on Amazon and set up a little obstacle course within your house and have fun with the kids, and maybe kick a ball around. So anything to get your body moving only increases those happy endorphins in you, and only makes you stronger, more confident, and feeling better about yourself.
Okay, so talking about your author journey, what has surprised you most about becoming an author?
Um, Gosh, that's a good one too. Really, the biggest surprise is the what the kids are saying after feeling. I thought I was maybe providing a service to these children, and I do feel that I am, but they're also filling my soul and my heart every time, especially when I get those thank you letters. I had a Girl Scout troop also send me a bunch of thank you letters the other day, and um, that to me means I'm on the right journey and I am doing what I set out to do, and that means a lot to me. And so I'm going to continue and hopefully touch more families and teach more about food safety, nutrition, and exercise.
Exactly, that was my last next question. That how is the response from the parents, teachers, and children you influenced your work? So
That means, yeah, that means the most. And I don't have to get a thank you letter. I was actually at one event and I looked over. It was at the end of the event, and I looked over my shoulder, and there was a little girl, and she had crawled up in a chair, and she was just buried into one of my books. And just seeing her do that, I can't even describe it. I was like, that's what I set out to do. That's what this whole journey is about.
okay, so what does it mean to you to receive awards and recognition for your books?
I didn't do it for the awards. I do enjoy the awards because it does help get my name established as a new author. If there are any new authors out there watching this, um, that has probably been my most difficult journey. Is in the beginning, people don't know who you are, and so it's hard to get that credibility for schools to call you and have them to come in and have that trust built. And so the awards do help an author. So I do highly recommend submit your books to award programs, because then it does. And those award programs will also promote you and help get your name out more. And that will only build your message. And that's my whole thing is I have that platform that I'm wanting. It's not about selling books for me. Mine is the platform about education.
Okay, so what keeps you motivated to continue writing educational children's book? What is the exact reason?
I mean, the real exact reason was truly that 50-50 list. And then it's kind of grown from there. The book is the first book is all my passions of public health, and it's built from there. But I also named the book, Birdie, that's the main character, is named after my daughter. And to me, there's that I've made her the main character in all of them, and she's an inspiration in my life. She's been applying to medical school herself. She's in public health as well, and so there's kind of a special connection with the books because of her and her passion in public health, as well as my passion in public health.
Great to hear that. Also, like, where do you see the Birdie series in 5 years from now?
Gosh, I hope it's actually grown, and I hope it's national, and I hope it's even international is my goal. I want the books translated into different languages so other children can learn about it. And I do want that curriculum created. I've been working on that currently to where if you do order all three of the books, you will have that curriculum to go hand in hand. So a teacher can sit in the classroom and use that as a tool, and she can have that tool every year if she wants for her nutritional and food safety section. I get called to do career days a lot. And so these books can substitute for me instead of being at a career day. And then I do hope a lot of the kids really like aprons and stuffed animals. And so some families have come to me saying they want some Birdie merchandise as well. And so I'm looking into possibly adding that as well.
Perfect. So, like, are there any other wellness topics you would like to explore with Birdie series?
At this time, I feel like the trilogy is complete with the three, but you never know. You never know. There may be another.
So, some other series can come.
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. So, what impact would you love your books to have on the next generation?
I want my books to truly build confidence in children, and that they are not scared to tackle complex situations such as food safety. A lot of people are like, food safety is so complex for a child to understand, but it's really interesting how I've broken down the books for them to tackle these complex situations. And I mean, a 4-year-old doesn't necessarily know what 140 degrees is, and that's what you need to keep hot foods at. And but there's ways that these books are teaching those complex things, and so that's how I feel like it's making an impact. If we can start that early again and just build on it at each stage. And when I do go and talk, like I mentioned, the books are more for 4 to 10-year-olds, but this is a topic that I can bend and mesh toward your age group. And that's what I love about it as well. Any age needs to learn about this. 1 in 6 people in the United States will come down with a foodborne illness this year. And that tells you right there, there's something missing. There's a lack of education somewhere.
Okay, so with this concluding the podcast, one message you want to give to the readers who are willing to read your book, and what would that message be?
My message is buy my books. It's all about families and connection and tackling difficult, complex public health situations, but making it in a fun way that's only going to build for a lifetime.
Perfect. Okay, so whoever is watching this on YouTube or listening on Spotify, you can just go to the description. All the links are there. The book series link is there. The social media links of Jessica is also there. You can just connect with her and discuss more about this and give your feedback to her as well. So thank you so much for joining, Jessica.
Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed it today. Thank you.
Thanks so much for the time.
Bye.